Good morning, Corey.
Good morning, Michelle.
And every time, what is it? Let's go again.
They want you to think it's you, that it's you who made this world, but it's always been them. Welcome to the headquarters of the human resistance.
Where's my hair?
To prevent you from contacting your ship.
What ship?
Your mothership?
I'm a high-profile female corporate executive. Think of it like you abducted the governor, but worse.
That was really good. You're killing our planet.
I'm not an alien.
I know who you are. I know what you are.
I know you too, Teddy.
The movie starts with two men, Teddy and Don, collecting honey. Teddy explains that bees pollinate most of our food, but big agro companies are now destroying bee colonies by poisoning and controlling them. He believes these companies, who he thinks might actually be aliens, are secretly controlling people. Teddy says he has studied this for years, and he and Don are training to fight back. Meanwhile, Michelle, the CEO of a global company, goes through her daily routine of exercising, practicing judo, boxing, and running before heading to work. Teddy and Don continue their training, convinced that aliens are running the world. One day, while walking to a store, Don asks if the people around them are aliens. Teddy says they're normal, but tells him there are signs to look for. Afterward, they buy ropes at a pharmacy and shop for clothes. Back home, Teddy tells Don he needs him for this mission, calling Don his best friend. Don dreams of having someone in his life someday, but Teddy tells him emotions are just brain signals and must be controlled. Don believes everything Teddy says. Teddy then injects him with something unknown. At the same time, Michelle is at her office giving an interview about inspiring young people in science and engineering. Later, as she heads to her car, Teddy and Don hide nearby. When she arrives, they ambush her. Michelle fights back and easily beats them, but she slows down when she notices an injection in her leg and collapses. They kidnap her. While driving, Teddy tells Don to remove Michelle's hair because he thinks a tracker is hidden there. Don shaves her head while she's unconscious and burns the hair with a phone. Teddy then points to her narrow feet, cuticles, and thick hair as proof she's an alien. They cover her body in cream, and Teddy insists her nervous system isn't human, even though she looks human. They put on suits, and Teddy tells Don to stay quiet because he'll be doing all the talking. When Michelle wakes up, she's confused and doesn't know where she is. Teddy tells her that he and Don work for a human resistance, and that they think she's an alien. Michelle asks why they shaved her head, and Teddy says it was to stop her from contacting her spaceship. Michelle warns them that the police and FBI will look for her within 24 hours because she's an important corporate executive. She tells them kidnapping her is a mistake and won't help them, urging them to let her go. But Teddy accuses her of being a high-ranking alien from the Andromeda Court, claiming her kind wants to enslave and destroy Earth. He demands that she call her mothership and her alien leaders. Michelle insists she's human, but Teddy points to her Instagram Andromedan code and says no 45-year-old human could have skin that perfect. Michelle explains it's just from diet and therapy. Teddy then hands her a recorder and orders her to record a message telling her alien superiors to leave Earth by nightfall. He claims her species killed his mother, killed his co-workers, and destroyed the bees. After giving instructions, he leaves the room. Michelle tries to talk to them, but Teddy and Don celebrate, thinking their plan is working. That night Michelle cries, terrified. Teddy insists she's evil and not human. Don says she's just trying to make them feel sorry for her and reminds Teddy they have 4 days until the lunar eclipse, their deadline to send her species away. A flashback shows Teddy's mother telling him people were poisoning her to control her cells and blood as part of a mind control industry. She says she did it for him and then begins floating in the air. The next day, Michelle uses the cream Teddy gave her. Teddy rides his bike through the neighborhood, and Officer Casey, an old friend, stops him. Casey checks on him, tells him to stay out of trouble, and asks if he's still hanging out with Don. He tells Teddy to visit sometime. Then Teddy heads to work. During lunch, Teddy sees a news report on TV about Michelle's disappearance. Later at home, while collecting honey, Don mentions that Michelle still hasn't eaten. He goes to check on her, and hears on her recordings admitting she's an alien. Teddy thinks she's making fun of them and tells her to speak to her emperor in her alien language and order him to leave Earth. Michelle tells them she has a degree in psychology and believes Teddy is stuck in an online echo chamber filled with misinformation. Her comment angers Teddy so much that he breaks a chair. Michelle asks what he really wants and says no amount of money, rules, systems, or sex can explain what he's doing. She calls him mentally ill, and Teddy slaps her before storming out to scream in his car. That night, Teddy shows Dawn a computer-made image of an alien ship. He says he has figured out how to identify aliens and plans to travel to their ship to negotiate for Earth's safety. Dawn listens, feeling hopeless. When Michelle tries to escape, Teddy and Dawn catch her. She pretends again, saying she is an alien and is tired and wants a solution. Teddy ties her to a chair. Michelle begs to be released, but Teddy ignores her, turns on a radio, and shocks her with electricity while watching her pulse and heart rate on a screen. Michelle screams, and Dawn finally unplugs the machine to stop him. A flashback shows Michelle meeting young Teddy beside his sick, floating mother. She explains that a product from her company caused his mother's condition and others like her. She promises they will fund treatment, fix the formula, and help Teddy financially. Later, Teddy returns from the market, covers all the windows and doors so no one sees Michelle, and ties her back to the chair before giving her food. During dinner, Michelle asks what his movement or ideology is. Teddy says it's not a movement. He works alone and discovered the truth about her himself. Michelle calls him a purist and says humans are Earth's most admirable creatures. When Teddy asks what she admires most, she says she admires their work ethic because humans work without complaining. Teddy compares Michelle's words to colony collapse disorder, CCD, and Michelle agrees. She says he believes that the pesticide her company makes, neonicotinoids, is killing bees, but claims the pesticide isn't the cause and that bee populations are actually recovering. She says his information is outdated and that species naturally rise and fall over time. Teddy accuses her of killing the bees and insists she's an alien. Michelle says she remembers him and his mother and admits her company's opioid medication hurt people, including his mom. But she says pulling the drug from the market would have helped. When she tells him not to say her name, Teddy snaps and yells at her to stop. Michelle says she also lost her son and tells him she can help him and his mother. Her words trigger Teddy, and he attacks and chokes her. At that moment, Officer Casey arrives. Michelle fights back while Dawn watches. Teddy hits her with a gun as Casey knocks. Casey says he's investigating a missing person and needs to ask questions. Inside, Teddy quickly turns off Michelle's CCTV feed. Casey notices a tied-up chair and mentions that Michelle's car was seen nearby. Teddy denies everything, saying he only works for her company. In the basement, Michelle wakes up near Dawn. She tells him he could have shot her earlier, but didn't, calling him brave. She warns him that Teddy is wrong and dragging him deeper into delusion. Dawn tells her to stop talking. Upstairs, Casey apologizes to Teddy for past stuff. Meanwhile, Michelle warns Dawn that the police are about to arrest them. Dawn starts panicking. Michelle promises to help him if he frees her. Dawn says Teddy is the only person he has. Teddy and Casey step outside to harvest honey. Inside, Michelle convinces Dawn to let her go by saying she'll take him with her on her spaceship. Dawn believes her, says he's ready, and asks her to tell Teddy he's sorry. Then he shoots himself. Hearing the gunshot, Teddy kills Casey with a shovel and runs downstairs, finding Dawn dead. He grabs the gun and demands to know what Michelle said. As he's about to shoot her, Michelle claims she has a cure for his mother. She explains his mother's genetic code is being rearranged and could recover in 4 to 5 years. She says there's a bottle labeled monoethylene glycol in her car. Teddy goes to get the chemical from Michelle's car, but breaks her leg before leaving. Alone, Michelle uses Dawn's keys to free herself. While Teddy bikes to the hospital and injects the substance into his mother's IV, Michelle looks around the house and finds jars of preserved human body parts and pages of Teddy's research. She realizes he has killed many people he thought were aliens. Teddy waits for the medicine to work, but his mother dies. Heartbroken, he runs back home. Michelle then begins telling him a story. Her 75th emperor found Earth during the dinosaur age. The aliens spread a deadly virus, and feeling guilty, the emperor created new life, humans. As humans evolved, some tried to make themselves superior, creating genetically modified people and causing a nuclear war. A few survivors rebuilt society, but humans kept starting wars and damaging the planet. Michelle says she also became selfish like humans and explains that human genes were altered to be stronger but more cruel. Her species came back to erase these corrupted genes and save humanity. She says Teddy's mother was chosen for an experiment because she was weak. Michelle claims she knows how to save Earth. Teddy breaks down crying. On the night of the lunar eclipse, Teddy and Michelle drive to her office with Dawn's body. Michelle wears a wig and shocks her co-workers as she walks in. She tells Teddy it will only take minutes to connect to her spaceship and begin the process. She starts typing on a calculator while Teddy waits. Michelle says it's done and promises they'll even revive Dawn. Teddy doesn't trust her, so he straps a bomb to himself. Michelle tells him to wait in a closet because they can't teleport together. Teddy believes her and steps inside. When Michelle presses the button, the bomb explodes. Teddy's head flies out and knocks her unconscious. Michelle later wakes in an ambulance, escapes, runs back to her office, grabs the calculator, goes into the closet, and teleports to her spaceship, the same one Teddy had digitally imagined. On board, the aliens tell her they couldn't reach her earlier because her head was shaved. They report that all their human experiments failed, with only 2 survivors, a 0% success rate. Michelle, revealed to be their emperor, says their time has come and that they've lived long enough. She then destroys Earth's ozone layer, instantly killing every human. People in planes, malls, schools, beaches, everywhere. All humans die, but the bees survive.
And that's the end of the story. I hope you liked it. Comment down below what movies do you like us to recap next. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.